right. Speaking of interesting, we got another listener question this week.
Okay.
Yeah. Our very first guest. Do you remember our first guest?
I do.
Emperor Remiel, Sean. He reached out actually on Facebook and he wanted to know how we feel about the Knights of the Old Republic remake news in regards to the change in combat. So for context, Star Wars KOTOR remake, it's being built from the ground up with the latest tech to match the groundbreaking standard of innovation established by the original. Quote, sources have said that the remake may no longer have combat that features some form of taking turns, and that they're opting instead for a completely action-based combat system, drawing inspiration from games like God of War and Neo 2. Honestly, I was expecting this because
Yeah.
we already have a pretty good port of the original. And this is early BioWare, but if you look at latter day BioWare, they were already going in that direction. Look at the jump from KOTOR to Mass Effect 1 to Mass Effect 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then look at stuff like the Final Fantasy 7 remake. I was expecting something more like that, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't. When I hear people, I've never played it, but when I hear people talk about it, I don't hear them talk about so much the gameplay as the story, which leads me to believe that that's the most important piece of that game.
I mean, the gameplay is fun, but it is basically two characters doing animations in front of each other and then numbers ticking.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that old style of combat that, was fine for back in the day, but because we have the technology to kind of make the gameplay more engaging and still have that RPG skeleton,
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting that. I'm for it.
Yeah, no, I'm down. I'm down with it.
And if you want to play classic KOTOR, get it on your Switch or, grab an old copy or play it on Game Pass. Like there's so many other ways to play the original if you want. And it looks great.
Yeah, and I will say that that sounds very similar to Xenoblade Chronicles as far as the gameplay, where they just kind of do animations back and forth. And I love that in Xenoblade Chronicles, but for some reason, I just feel like I wouldn't in a Star Wars game. Like I want to do the things,
Yeah.
especially after playing Fallen Order. Come on,
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm out.
I think you would have liked it back in the day because you like RPGs. I think it's a
Yeah,
great game, but given the choice between turn-based combat and the original Final Fantasy and what they came up with for the remake, please.
yeah,
More remake, please. I don't mind turn-based, but again, I just got off of doing the Diamond and Pearl remakes, and now I'm playing Legends Arceus, and it's still turn-based, but they made so many of the actions within the overworld and they don't move you to a different loading screen. Like there's streamlining when you move it to an
yeah.
action RPG,
Gives
right?
you more time to play the game.
Yes.
You're playing the game more.
Yes. There's less downtime and less watching numbers tick, which again, if that's your thing, you have access to that. But I'm glad that they're really going hard with this remake and allowing it to be its own thing because I think that's what made Final Fantasy VII Remake so successful.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I am in support. Emperor Remiel offered his opinion. He also thinks it's a good change. He thinks KOTOR is an awesome game, one of his personal favorites, but the combat, in his opinion, is heavily dated. I
Yeah,
think that we could agree. Again, there's a place for it. There are new games that come out that utilize similar combat if you're into it. It's not like there's a dry spell for that type of thing. And you still have really decent turn-based games that are coming out. But I am for it moving in a different direction to set itself apart gameplay wise from its inspiration. So
yeah. And if, like I said, if Xenoblade had an action type combat system,
yep.
oh, it'd be the fucking best game ever.
Yeah.
It really would.
Yeah. No, it'd be great. It'd be great.